This is the new 2019 Ram heavy duty pickup. Right away, I can tell you that it is by far the most attractive, best designed of the full-size pickups. Yes, the Ford Super Duty is attractive, but GM went to town, but like not the right part of town. When they redesigned the Silverado and Sierra, I think they're actually kind of very hideous. But Ram, oh my goodness, did they do a good job. This truck has no bad angles. It's just completely, perfectly sorted out. Love that front grille. Everything about this truck is perfect. Even though it lacks some details like the GM trucks do, like the side steps and all that. But anyhow, here we go. There are, as far as I understand, 6 versions of the Ram HD. And they start with the Tradesman, which starts at $51,000. Now there are approximately 73 different subversions. I stopped counting. No, I'm kidding. But there are a lot of them. And then, well, I won't tell you all the prices or all the subversions, but you're looking at, there's a Bighorn after the Tradesman. There's a Power Wagon, for which I have a very, very soft spot. It starts at $65,000. Then there's a Laramie, and then there's a Limited, which starts at just under $80K, but with options you can bring to well over $100,000. This one is only a $2,500. It is, or happens to be, a Laramie Longhorn edition with boom shakalaka. All right, so base price for a Laramie Longhorn is $75,000 when you factor in the Mega Cab configuration, which is completely brilliant and a mild weakness at the same time. It starts at about $78K, and then you add options. Now I just showed you the Cummins. The Cummins with the 6-speed automatic transmission is almost $10,000 just for the powertrain. Now my truck has these 20-inch wheels, which are optional. A safety group with the adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring. Also has the Longhorn Level 1 package, which includes the power running boards, 12-inch screen, which I'll show you in a second, 17-speaker audio system. Anyhow, final tally, $97,000. And that's before freight and prep. Anyway, so the one thing, I mean, Ram is the only one that doesn't have a fancy pull-out design, tailgate, whatever. And it's not power operated even at this price. But it is dampened and semi-assisted when putting up. So that's kind of cool-ish. All right, so let's get right to the Mega Cab. Mega Cab! So the weakness, I'll tell you about that in a few moments, but the high point is the room you get inside. It's just completely ridiculous. Right, so the seat can fold flat and you get a massive trunk. There's actually some storage behind the seat back there, and what I love is that the seat backs obviously recline. So for human passengers, adults I mean, it can be very comfortable in the long run. And look at that, look how perfectly sitting my son's seat is set up because of the reclining seat back. It's just completely brilliant. And because it's a Longhorn, well, there are things that I wouldn't do, but at the same time, I get it, and I'm totally into it. Extra cup holders there. Even the carpets. This is what I'm going to show you now. The attention to detail. Right, the two-tone leather stitching, perforated. Look at this is the rear door panel. Number of materials and the textures, the soft, the woods. It's just beautiful, and it gets better up front. Look at the power running boards. Are they going to go? Am I going to tease them? I'm going to tease them. I'm going to tease them. Ah, teased them. Got them. I mean, look at this. This is like a cork-ish type wood, which I absolutely adore. My girlfriend doesn't, but what do I know? What does she know? Anyway, it's like a snake skin. I don't know. It's comical, but so cool at the same time. Two-tone stitching, this like bronze chrome finish on the door handles and everywhere. I absolutely love it. Kick plates, carpets again. It's amazing. I'm blown away. And this truly is what sets. I'm gonna start up the old straight 6. This is what truly sets the Ram apart from the other two. The interior is stunning. Look at this again. The wood, the leathers, the trim on the bezel. Look at that stitching. It's beautiful. And then, whoa, 12-inch screen. This is completely insane. This is what you find in a Tesla, and you think you'll never find that anywhere else in a luxury car, but then here it is. And it responds nicely to touches. Heated steering wheel, cooled and heated seats, various camera angles. It's all here. All your apps or your shortcuts are all in here. Apple CarPlay and all that business. Whoops. There you go. That's your main menu for your configurations and your settings. I said all the various cams. Look at that. I don't know. It's everything. Everything is here, and it looks so good in the process too. And stitching on the shifter, wood up here. Oh, and storage. So you got your cup holders. A little bit of a bin here. It works out nicely. There's another little bin here. Then you got a handle, and you can push this back to reveal a huge bin here. You can pull it back out, and then boom, huge storage down here. And then, looks like Lightning McQueen is taking a break. I don't know. It's all here. It's beautiful. I want to spend hours upon hours upon hours towing my fifth wheel trailer to Banff or something like that from Montreal in this truck. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, what really sets this truck apart. Or one of the two things. Ram made a conscious decision to dress up their truck, to make it infinitely appealing visually and to the touch, and I absolutely love it for that. Then you take it out on the road and you discover a little bit more, of the highs and the lows, but ultimately the highs of driving this big truck. Now, driving the Ram heavy duty is an absolute pleasure. I am enjoying this far more than I can explain. The only reason really, I think, is because deep down inside of me, I need a pickup in my life. There is something comforting, rewarding, gratifying, and self-esteem boosting that comes with driving such a huge, powerful truck. Powerful. Let's talk about that now. So my tester has the low output 6.7 liter turbocharged diesel straight six Cummins engine. And I say low output because it puts out only 370 horsepower and 850 pound-feet of torque as of 1700 RPM. Low output because it's a high output version that puts out 400 horsepower and 1,000 pound-feet of torque as of 1800 RPM. With my low output 6.7, which has been heavily revised, is a heavily revised 6-speed automatic transmission. Together they make this thing, much faster than it should ever be. And despite only having 6 speeds, and I'll touch on that, this thing responds. I mean, the power and the speed piles on so fast, and you don't feel it because the straight six is still so smooth. And yet, it's also, I think, the noisiest between the Power Stroke, the Duramax, and the Cummins. And for that, I love it. It's got like a slightly tinnier diesel ping to it, which I am wholly addicted to. I've driven a 2020 Silverado HD with the Duramax, and it's a lot of things. It's more powerful, 910 pound-feet of torque, and it has a 10-speed automatic transmission. Combined, despite having only 60 pound-feet of torque more, that V8 and a 10-speed make the Silverado not only feel a lot quicker, more responsive, but it's so much smoother, so much more quiet. And that also applies to the drive, the actual driving experience. The Silverado is butter smooth compared to this, which is still really, really smooth and quiet and handles quite well. But for the driving experience, I have to hand it to GM. they've done an incredible job. But where they cut the corners, sadly, is on everything else. Because, right, this interior is stunning. The exterior of this truck is jaw-dropping. The power it exudes more than makes up for the power it is lacking. And by the way, the high output Cummins is only available on the 3500 for the 2019 model year. And yes, the new Super Duty puts out 1050 pound-feet of torque, which is completely mental. And it's just a dumb game, which I love watching and betting on almost with the guys at Motor Illustrated. The reason being because the Duramax, the Silverado HD, loaded and equipped as it needs to be, can tow up to 35,500 pounds. A Ram 3500 with the high output, blah, 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 can tow up to 35,100 pounds. I don't recall the Super Duty numbers, but it's all in that same area. So what difference does it really make? I don't know. Having said all that, I would still go with this truck, even though it's the least capable. On that subject, this particular 2500 Mega Cab, the Mega Cab being the weak link, with the 373 gearing and all that, can tow about 16,000 pounds, which is still a lot, right? Obviously, it's a lot. And can haul about 4,000 pounds. I had maybe 400 or 500 pounds worth of scrap wood and other junk in the bed earlier today. It could have not been there and probably been 4 times heavier than that, and it wouldn't have changed anything in the ride and handling of this truck. But yeah, despite being the least capable, possibly the least robust, like the least designed to be constantly abused, I would still take the Ram. For this, for the outside, the Cummins is still a bulletproof option, and it sounds so good. And even if the GM has a nicer drive and is quieter, this is still far more refined and civilized than any heavy-duty truck should ever have to be. I suppose at $97,000, you can expect it to be nice. This thing is brilliant. I love this truck. May not be the best, but it damn sure as hell is the prettiest.